We're going to bring in former Assistant FBI Director Chris Swecker. He's now here to react. So, Chris, the more and more that transpires in this story, the more concerning it becomes that the FBI, which is supposed to be bipartisan, perhaps meddled in the election. So what are we going to do to prevent this from happening again?
Yeah, I'm not a big supporter of congressional hearings, but I think in this case, more transparency, more sunlight on this needs to be. We need to have more of that because, gosh, the FBI has no business being involved in suppressing free speech. I could understand if they had a counterintelligence operation and they saw that some Russian intelligence officers or Russian intelligence operation was attempting to use Twitter to spread misinformation that was advantageous to Russia or could undermine our democracy. But I can't see any other scenario where they could or would or should ban U.S. citizens or ban any type of free speech dialogue. Never seen it in my entire career, in my 40 years in law enforcement. I've just never seen this. It's not a proper role for my former agency, which I love. I'm looking forward to some hearings.
Yeah, I'm trying to put myself in your position. Assistant Director of the FBI. Does this FBI permutation over the last 4 or 5 years resemble in any way, shape, or form the bureau that you were a part of?
It's hard to recognize. And, of course, I'm part of the retired agent network, particularly retired FBI executives who retired at high levels. I talk to people inside the bureau, people that are recently retired, and people who have traditionally supported the FBI out there in the law enforcement community and the community at large. They're scratching their heads. They're perplexed. The FBI is hemorrhaging supporters because somehow their leadership has put them in the middle of political cases and the political arena, which I never saw in my 25 years of active service, and I haven't seen it until very, very recently, since I think it started possibly under Comey. And it's just extended forward. All of the top-level FBI executive positions seem, not all of them, but many of them seem to be ideologues who think that they can just bring their ideology to work with them.
And before we get to the next topic, I just have one more thing. It said that they showed emails from the FBI officials requesting bans on Twitter users. But the FBI is refusing to say which other social media networks that they perhaps worked with. Do you foresee things like Instagram and Facebook being a part of this as well?
I do. I think it's a much broader outreach effort on the part of the FBI to get into the social media world, if you will. I mean, they've always tried to, since 9/11, they've been trying to reach out to businesses and educate them about counterintelligence operations and that sort of thing and how to protect themselves. This goes way, way beyond that. They need to just check out of this business completely and get back to doing what they should be doing, which is putting people like Sam Bankman-Fried in jail.
Let's get to that. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried expected to agree to extradition from the Bahamas on crypto fraud charges and is expected to appear in court today. Chris, what's next in this saga? Do you anticipate new charges?
I do. I think it's a wise move on his part to go ahead and waive extradition, lest he cool his heels in a less than pleasant prison in the Bahamas, as opposed to getting up into the U.S. and facing his charges and just getting on with it. I expect to see a wave of superseding indictments once he gets up to the United States. I think the charges that he's facing right now are what we call placeholders. They're just to get him extradited and get him in the criminal justice system. It was pretty quick in terms of the investigation. As you apply it to white-collar crime type cases, which are fairly complex, this one being no exception. So I think there will be a wave of superseding indictments. I think he's going to see dozens and dozens of charges. And I think it's a slam dunk situation because you have a bankruptcy trustee who is fully cooperating with the FBI investigation and the SEC investigation. So you don't have to fight for documents and fight for books and records and that sort of thing.
It's going to be interesting to see this all unfold, really both stories. Chris Swecker, thanks for getting up with us this morning. We appreciate it.